Hi, welcome to my Salesforce diaries. In this episode, we're going to be looking at data storage, in particular, overage of data storage. As we've got in this particular example, you can see above me, client is now operating at 225% of his data storage, and they're obviously under some pressure from Salesforce to do something about that. So the client's now got three choices. He can subscribe to an archiving system, and of course Salesforce has got their own particular system called Own Backup, which is lovely. Will certainly do the job. There are others available, and they all tend to come around £4,000 to £5,000 per year. The other option is you can go and buy some extra data storage from Salesforce, and I want to talk about that in 1 second. And then the third option is to go on a pruning spree. Let's talk about the extra data storage, which Salesforce obviously very happy to offer you, and they sell it in chunks of 100 gigabits. And the cost for 100 gigabits is £8,160. And I decided, well, let's pop that into an AI tool and find out, is that expensive? Because the client's saying, well, that is really expensive. And sure as it is, the typical cost of similar storage is, £25 out in the marketplace, albeit that is what I would call cold storage. That's very much, just take a CSV file and just kind of dump it there. Whereas obviously, if you leave it in Salesforce, then you've got use of those records. You can still report on them and do the other things. So it's not an absolute like for like, but it depends, I suppose, what you're going to do with those records. And this particular client just wants them dumped somewhere so he can say, well, I haven't thrown them away, but they're of no use to me anyway. So I'm going on a pruning spree, but first thing is I needed to dive in, have a look at the data, and you can see that the main culprit is logs. And what a culprit that is as well. Nearly 3.4 million records. Now, most users don't know what a log is, never seen a log, don't have access to it. And I think what's happened in this particular instance is, previous developers and administrators have set up a logging system, particularly around flows, to look at the errors in flows, etc. And that's created all of these records. So we know that, these are having no impact. We can kind of get rid of those straight away. It took a long time. I did do it in Data Loader, and it was pretty laborious. Now, some of you are going to say, well, couldn't you use Apex script? And I'm certainly going to look at that for others as well. But I think just so I could sit and watch it as it went through and see if any errors were coming up, I did do that via Data Loader. I had to change quite a lot of settings against my profile to achieve all of that. But I did manage to get it done. My next target is email messages. Email messages is really important here because obviously they're taking more up than their normal allocation, probably because of the nature of, an email message might have attachments and that to it. So rather than taking 2K per record, it's taking more like, I guess that's 10K per record that's doing. And some of those email messages are very old, so we can get rid of those. And the other thing that to think about in this particular org is he uses person accounts, and the problem with person accounts, amongst many others, is that every time he creates a client account, which is a person account record, it creates an account and a contact. And you can see the numbers are pretty well the same here. There's a slight difference in the number of records because he does use account records in the standard way as well. He uses the account contact, etc. So I've got a little bit of pruning there, a lot of hard work to do to see if I can get this down to below the 100% mark rather than pay for the extra storage. And then maybe we'll have to put some form of automation in to, review it and try and keep these numbers under. So I'd be interested in your kind of feedback. There is a fourth option, of course, which I think is the one called Big Objects, which is available in Salesforce. You can store 1 million records in there. And I may look at that maybe to bring in some of the account contact stuff and push that over into big objects. But from what I understand, I need to do a bit of Apex scripting or whatever to get that to work. So I'd be interested in any comments or any experiences anybody's had on big objects. So that would be really useful to know. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, got some useful information, and I'll see you next time.